just start tearing the shit.
I was completely wrong.
That was a lot of talking without breathing.
Don't miss Sports Nation, weekdays on ESPN America.
The kick is good. And the Giants are going back to the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh, twice. It's amazing. I mean, this team, the way come on the road in San Francisco against a good team.
What is it like when that person is you? It's on you. It's your foot.
It's my second NFC Championship game, my second game winner. It's amazing. You know, I had dreams about this last night. It was from 42, not 31. But I was so nervous today before the game, just anticipating this kind of game, you know. I mean, I'm usually pretty cool, but there was something about tonight that I knew I was going to have to make a kick. So hats off to Eli, offense, defense, you know, great win.
Welcome back to this special Super Bowl edition of Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM.
First, we got to get rid of Chip. You know, Adam Sandler's been a frequent guest here on Super Bowl Sunday NFL Countdowns, keeping us laughing all along.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I mean, look. Now, wait a minute now. So that shot right there. Hold on now. How about today? It's a pretty good game. What do we got, Colts or Saints? What do you think, Adam?
Of course you want New Orleans to be happy, but I also think Peyton can have some happiness in his life. So it's just as an older brother to Eli, he deserves one more.
Steelers or Packers? Who wins?
I'm picking the Steelers, too. The ball. What
well, here's the problem.
What?
You're not the, I guess you're not the Swami. These predictions.
Oh, all my predictions are wrong. So
well,
yeah, no, it happens.
Well, we have 46 Super Bowls. We're bound to get one right. How are you?
I'm doing great, buddy. I love you. It's great to see you.
Here's the one thing I got to ask, though. We saw it there.
Yes.
So last year, we love you, Adam, but you bring out Jennifer Aniston.
I know. This
year just you? I got to tell you, it's not working for me, okay?
I called Aniston. She said she didn't like the cologne you were wearing last year. But
yeah, none.
None, exactly. Yeah.
So it's a new movie here, and football, always sports, often sports related. Football is your favorite?
Well, yeah, I love watching. I don't know. I think football's it's football and baseball, I guess, are my favorites. But I do come here. There is a huge lie going on. I come here to promote movies, and the studio looks at me like, the movie's coming out in 6 months. Why? What does the Super Bowl have to do with your movie right now? But it gets me here for free. Gets my goofy family here for free. So here we are.
Well, listen. So it's That's My Boy.
That's My Boy.
We'll take a look at it and then tell me what's up. Here's a look.
It's disgusting.
Paid taxes since '94, Donnie.
What? I thought they were taking it out automatically.
I told them that's what you thought, and they said it's the stupidest thing they ever heard. But there is some good news. If you can pay the balance off by the end of the weekend, they'll suspend the sentence.
Oh, okay. There you go. What are we talking about? Hit me.
43,000.
43 grand? No!
Come on, Donnie. Don't screw up my Tom Brady poster. It's my favorite one. Look at that jawline.
You made Rex Ryan a movie star. How was he?
He was fantastic. He worked hard. His character is a Patriots fan, and he really was rooting for the Pats that day.
Got him on a bad day?
No, he was so funny because we shot it in New England, and when Rex showed up in New England, there is a lot of hatred towards him and his team. But when they got to know him, the crew members felt bad for hating him because he is a stud of a guy.
Well, let me ask you this, Adam. It's you, it's Jackie, the whole crew.
Yeah.
It's your production. But
Yes.
did you bring a football coach in? Does he give you a speech before the big day of shooting?
No. He realized he was on the movie star's turf, and he minded his manners.
So what's the rest of the movie? I mean,
It's about when I'm 13. It's a rated R movie, by the way. So the kids,
Really?
yes.
Uh-oh.
Slightly dirty.
Stepping out now.
I had to. Don't bring your grandma to this
Okay.
one. And it's about a kid. He had sex with his teacher when he was 13. Got her pregnant. Had a son of his own, and that's Andy Samberg.
This is you? This is it?
I got forced into this.
All right, well, we're moving right along. Less R-rated discussion.
Yeah.
So we got this game here today, the Patriots and the Giants, which we all know 4 years ago was unbelievable. First of all, you are a Jet fan, right?
Yes.
So this is not what you want.
I heard you. All right, take it easy.
But this is not what you want, right? Patriots, Giants, it's a nightmare.
Okay, look, I originally from New York. My family, we put the Jets first, the Giants second. I know that's not allowed in some households, but that's how we did it. I have a million New England friends. I have little kids in New England who get mad at me whenever I don't root for their team, but I can't help it. It's what my father told me to do, so I'm pulling for the Giants.
All right.
All right.
So you're pulling for.
Sorry,
How about a prediction? I mean, now look, you got a chance to get off the schneid. This is actually a big moment.
Yeah.
Because anyone can miss the first two. I ought to know. One is an accident.
Yeah.
Two is a trend.
Yeah.
3 is a problem.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure on this pick, Adam. Who is it?
Only because I'm wrong every time. I guarantee the Patriots will win this.
Oh, I see. The reverse. You've been talking to Tommy Jackson.
Yeah,
That's the reverse.
Tommy does that also. Yeah, that's smart.
The reverse side cut. So That's My Boy is in theaters June 15th in time for Father's Day. Isn't that special?
Yeah, isn't it lovely for your dad? And listen, all of New England and all of New York are welcome to go see that movie.
And they will.
Okay.
You know what?
Berman,
I can't wait to find a way. Gone with the Win next year, right?
Yeah.
Am I in it?
You're going to be in the next
Gone with the Win. Adam Sandler, a great friend to us, a great friend to everybody, and a friend of football. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the day, man.
You're the best, Berman.
Oh, enjoy the day.
Okay, kid.
When we return, season where you might have heard Tim Tebow and the Broncos were front and center. After coming out of nowhere, we'll relive it and hear from the Denver quarterback around the bend. We'll be back. Thanks, Adam.
Here they are, the national panel.
Every day I lose, I die just a little.
Let's go to work.
He's not that popular.
Why'd you have to go get Woody all riled up?
Get over it.
Don't miss Around the Horn, weekdays on ESPN America.
The Patriot way is working hard, showing leadership by the way you go out there and play each and every down.
Being accountable to yourself, to your teammates.
Really, we just got to do our job.
Come on, fellas, just do your job.
Just going out doing your job. The Patriot way is just to do your job.
Just do your job.
Let's do our job, fellas.
That's what it comes down to is all 11 guys out there on the field doing their job.
Because everyone out there depends on it.
That's it. That's it.
Everything hangs in the balance now. The outcome of a Super Bowl berth hangs in the balance.
3rd and 3 from the 6. At some point back in training camp, I had to throw the ball 3 times above his head in a row. And little did we know they would come into play later in the year.
I had come out of the game because I couldn't breathe. And I'm listening to what the play is going to be.
We're going to call a sprint option. He's going to break up and break into the corner. Okay.
I'm fine now. I'm going, especially for sprint right option.
We can stop them regardless. They need a touchdown.
Montana rolling out the right, looking toward the end zone, throwing under pressure, throws his pass.
I look at it and I say, oh, man, I'm glad that play is over because that ball's going out of bounds.
It's thrown exactly where Bill Walsh said to throw it.
I was not throwing the ball away.
Caught caught by Clark. Clark got a touchdown.
Get over there and everyone's telling me what a great catch Dwight's made. And I'm like, come on. He said, no, he had to jump as high as he could. I go, get out of here.
Goes through the rafters and through the clouds and then pulls this ball down, and I was just like, I was sick.
People will always remember that play that got the 49ers in their first Super Bowl.
The road to New Orleans is full of surprises.
3 on the way. Oh!
Contenders.
Duke holds on at the end.
Pretenders.
It's gone!
Cinderellas.
Long Beach State upsets the Panthers.
But only one national champion. March Madness live from the Big Easy. Only on ESPN America.
Hard to argue the most polarizing story of the season, Tim Tebow. Remember when they went on that 6-game win streak? The charismatic quarterback led Denver to 4 straight fourth-quarter comeback wins from weeks 11 to 14, making the Broncos just the second team ever with 4 consecutive fourth-quarter comeback wins in a row.
We believe till the very end, and we're going to lay it on the line on every single play. You got to look in the mirror and see how bad you want it. It was just special, and if you believe, unbelievable things can sometimes be possible.
Tebow didn't just take the football world by storm. His unique style captured attention worldwide. Tebowing became a phenomenon as followers carried out the act in the most unlikely places, and fans were often manic in their support.
Am I ready for the next level? Let me tell you, I hope I am the Tim Tebow of the Iowa caucuses.
Week after week, his performance was analyzed, but win or lose, his genuine love for people never wavered. His goodness consistently displayed by visiting kids like young Joey Norris, battling cancer. Remember this? Tebowing while keyboing.
I believe that he's proving everybody wrong, and in some ways, I'm proving everybody wrong.
There certainly were some jump off your seat and scream moments, like the Tebow to Demaryius Thomas 80-yard TD pass on the first play of overtime in the wildcard playoffs, giving the Broncos a win over the defending AFC champion Steelers.
This was definitely a special memory, and it's one that will always be very special to get a win like we did versus a great team in front of our fans. I've been blessed to have some good memories and playing football, and this will definitely be one of the more special ones.
If you have the opportunity to meet Tim Tebow, then you would understand. It is genuine. He truly cares. It's what his teammates love about him. That and how inspiring he can be. His belief is so strong, it can lift those around him, sometimes to the most unlikely of wins. Hannah Storm picks it up from here.
Tebow escapes and he can run. 25-20. Tebow 15. Inside the 10. Inside the 5. Are you kidding? Tim Tebow, Denver touchdown.
How do you take this season, this one season? Would you call it miraculous?
Yeah, I don't know that I'd call it miraculous. I'd just say it was a special season with a bunch of special guys, and we're very thankful. I was very thankful to have an opportunity to be part of it.
Touchdown! It's over in Denver!
We understand that we did some good things, but we have a long way to go, and we have to have a great offseason and work extremely hard and get a lot better. Hopefully one day, we'll be able to play in a game like this coming up.
And how far away are you from being an elite quarterback?
I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to be playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos, and I can't wait to work and get better every single day, every single year.
How do you resist the urge to say, I told you so?
I don't think that's ever been an urge for me at all. I just want to be the best that I can be and help as many people as I can help and honestly live my dream every day, and that's what I'm doing. I'm very excited about this next season, and I'm looking forward to really my first off season and working with Coach Gase and Coach McCoy and receivers and running backs, and really just trying to improve on my footwork, improve on my fundamentals, understanding our offense and how we're trying to manipulate defenses, and all those things, and I can't wait for it.
No doubt everyone in the organization is anxious to get to work, see how a true off-season with OTAs, proper coaching, without a lockout can enable Tebow to be the quarterback everyone would like him to be. A Vice President of Football Operations, John Elway, said he'll be the starter going into training camp. Do they owe him a chance to be the starter?
You're not owed. Look, you're not owed anything in football. Nice try. Steve.
Right.
You're not. No one owes you anything, but he is the starter. He deserves it because of how he played, what he did for the team. Now we can start to. We will talk here for the next couple minutes about how he needs to get better fundamentally. But as far as how he played and won games and got into the playoffs and won a playoff game, he is the starter starting next year.
And you can't deny the energy he infused into this organization, into this football team. And he did bring something. It was hard to quantify what it was, but he brought a spark to this team. And I think he's earned the right to be trained and developed, and that's what he needs more than anything else. He's earned the right to spend an offseason getting those reps and getting that investment from the coaching staff to see if they can get him to change. He needs to change. Every great athlete, to reach their potential, needs to change mechanically. I think Tim Tebow is one of them.
Yeah, can we just acknowledge, though, how empty of a promise it is when you're promised to be the starter going into training camp?
Yeah.
Because so much can happen from training camp to the regular season. I think the only thing Tim Tebow should be promised or he's owed is the opportunity to compete through an off season, through a training camp, and because you still don't know who they're going to bring in. Okay, it is possible that Tim Tebow can still be beat out as the starter for the Denver Broncos. Like, there's only a handful of quarterbacks in the NFL right now that have that guarantee.
I can tell you this.
You're the guy.
I suspect he could be beat out, but it can't happen because they will storm the castle.
Yes.
They don't have a choice. He has to play, and he has to play his way in or out of that lineup.
Who's going to storm the castle?
And everyone in Denver will literally hold hostage.
Well, then if that's the way you run your organization, you've got problems. Okay? If you're going to get influenced by what the public thinks or what the fans think, listen, you're going to let the fans decide who your starting quarterback is.
In this, no.
Would you let the fans decide who your starting quarterback is?
They're both aligned. But I can tell you, if you try to make a change in training camp based on some training camp plays and some training camp games, they'll storm the castle.
But if there's another quarterback that has beaten him
Manning,
out, that's beaten him out, I mean, that's got to be the guy, right?
The answer here is the skill set. You guys got a big chunk of the skill set. He admits there's a lot he needs to change. In the most pressure-filled situations, he reverted back.
Yes.
How do you take the next step for the future in regard to that?
Training. And if you make him compete and you bring somebody else in there, he won't get the reps. And that's the problem. If there's another quarterback there sharing those off-season reps, that's less reps for Tim Tebow.
But fundamentally, though, I would tell you this. Fundamentally, it's not just reps. His throwing motion needs to get more effective so he can complete more throws in all places on the field. He is tremendous down the field, the angle throws. There's a lot of ways to do it, but he needs to be able to be more effective. Watch Tom Brady today. If I was Tim Tebow, I would take a tape of Tom Brady and just watch it day and night, because how he delivers the ball, Tim has to be more reflective of that style.
This is the most critical offseason of his life right here.
And we're going to have answers to those questions depending on how the Denver Broncos handle free agency and how they handle the draft. We'll be back.
All in, putting their chips on the table.
You have something that you feel can't be beat, you know, what do? You throw it all in.
How a Christmas Eve speech got the Giants to the Super Bowl. And Parcells' protégés coming from the same coaching tree.
Anyone who was around Parcells for any length of time learned was how to win.
Bill was very generous. I certainly learned a lot.
Bill Parcells on what his two assistants were like before they were head coaches.
I'm Michael Kim. Coming up tomorrow on SportsCenter, it's the morning after the Super Bowl. We have complete highlights, reaction, and analysis. Now, the Giants aren't the only New York team in action, as Henrik Lundqvist and the Rangers host the Flyers in the NHL. And the Celtics, like the Patriots, are also in action on Super Bowl Sunday. Did we mention we have wall-to-wall coverage of Super Bowl 46 from Indianapolis? That's tomorrow on SportsCenter.
the AFC wildcard Denver Broncos climbed to the top to pull off an upset over the favored Green Bay Packers.
And goal from the 1, Elway.
Denver running back Terrell Davis rushed for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns to become the MVP. With this victory, the Broncos ended the NFC's 13-season Super Bowl winning streak. In 1999, no one was surprised to see John Elway and his Broncos back in the big game as they took on the Atlanta Falcons in Super Bowl 33.
Down deep the middle of the field. Rod Smith got it.
Elway completed 18 of 29 passes for 336 yards and a touchdown and ran for another score himself to clinch back-to-back Super Bowls for the Denver Broncos.
Super Bowl 33 is history. The Denver Broncos are world champions once again.
ESPN America isn't just your source for North American sports in Europe and the Middle East.
It's a community that brings American sports fans together.
We've taken fandom to the next level by teaming up with Twitter and Facebook
so you can debate the hottest sports topics with other passionate fans
and follow some of your favorite ESPN American personalities.
What are you waiting for? Get online and join our community.
Check out ESPN America's great apps on Facebook
and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to this special Super Bowl edition of Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM.
Yeah, the NFL experience. I think 250,000 people have been through there. That doesn't even include today. So what a fan fest, if you will, for so many football fans. Now, Chuck Noll, Joe Gibbs, Bill Walsh, Bill Belichick. They've all won 3 or more Super Bowls. And Key, you had a chance to visit with a man who was possibly on the verge of winning number 4, Key.
You know what, Boom? Coach Belichick, a lot of people think that he's very arrogant. He gives a lot of one-word answers at his press conference, and he can be a little standoffish and boring. I had to go up to Foxborough because that's not the coach that I know.
And the Patriots are world champions again. Back-to-back. 3 out of 4. Yes, it's a dynasty.
8 Super Bowls, 5 as a head coach. What do you take from the previous ones into this game?
Well, they're all special. They're all different. Anybody that's in this game has got to do a lot of things well. They're hard to prepare for, and so that's common.
In most people's eyes, Tom Brady's the best quarterback in the National Football League. In most people's eyes, you're the best head coach in the National Football League. How has that relationship help you evolve as a head coach?
It's challenging, and some of the things that he sees that he can do are exceptional, and that gives you a lot of ability as a coach to be more creative. That he can recognize things, he can anticipate things, manage the clock, manage personnel, down and distance, formations. A lot of moving parts going on at the same time. He's able to sort them all out, put them together, and do the right thing for the team.
I've experienced a lot with him over the years, and because he's been the only coach I've had in the pros, I've been very fortunate, Coach Belichick, to play for him, and his attention to detail, the way that he gets the team ready each week to play is second to none. He has high expectations for us. He treats me like I'm a rookie.
I can't stand it. Run it again. Huddle up and run it again, Brady.
You want to say, go screw yourself, but you can't because he's your coach, and you say, you know what, he's right.
He's a hard guy to coach because he's so well prepared. He's seen all the tape. He's studied the film. You can't BS your way through a meeting with Tom Brady. I'll tell you that. Not about football.
I know you as a defense coordinator.
Yeah.
And you're ranked 31st in defense.
I'd like for us to play better defense. I'd like for us to play better on offense. I'd like for us to play better in the kicking game. I'd like to do a better job coaching. So, all those things can be improved. No question about it. We're not perfect.
You coached me in the secondary at the New York Jets.
I did.
Knowing that you're a secondary guy, when we talk about why your defense struggles, can be preparation. Because for the last 30 seconds of a game, it was a 30-minute meeting.
That's right. We'd meet on 30 minutes for one play, and it would come up 3 times a year. You didn't play a lot of plays on defense, but you had a lot of production. Okay, we might see if we can get a spot for you back there.
50 years from now, when you're finally retired from coaching.
It'll be long before that.
What is it that you would like to see your legacy in the National Football League?
Well, I mean, I enjoy the winning, so you know, the more wins, the better. But you know, it still comes back to the relationships. As a coach, you try to put your players in position where they can, you know, do what they can do, be competitive, you know. But in the end, the players make the plays, and I'm fortunate that I've been able to coach, you know, a lot of great ones.
You know, I played wide receiver in the National Football League, but I had an opportunity to play defensive back for Bill Belichick in a few games at the end of games. He'll do anything to the roster. He'll scrub it just to be successful, Boone.
Key, good job up there. And look at you, you know, you're
learning from you.
I don't know, 60 Minutes got nothing on you, man. Vince Lombardi lost his first playoff game. He'll never win any. 9-1. Coach Belichick, the only one with a winning percentage 739, not named Vince Lombardi. Tom Flores, you forget that Tom was 8-3. Bill Walsh, 10-4 in the postseason. We go on and on and on. There are many ways to point about the legacy already, Coach, of Bill Belichick. How does tonight's outcome affect his legacy, if it does at all?
I think it depends on who you talk to. I think his legacy is set in cement. I mean, this guy is a great coach, and everybody will tell you he is really a great coach. When I look at him, I look at a guy who prepares in every way. You know, I know maybe he's not the most popular guy in some areas, but he gets the job done. I want to say one other thing. In order to be able to do what this man's done, you have to have a good owner. You have to have people that you can work with. You have to have the say. And when the owner turned the reins over to this guy, turn him over to the right guy, because he knows what he's doing. And he's going to put the best people out there. Now, you may not agree with it sometimes the way he does it, but he's going to do what he has to do to win. And he said it right there. What's his legacy going to be? The more wins, the better off he's going to feel.
You know, 8 Super Bowl appearances, 3 as a defensive coordinator, 5 as a head coach. I don't know, like, what else
he can do.
You can do. I mean, he'll probably coach for another 10 years or so, or maybe even longer than that, and he'll pile up more wins. But I think that's the part of Bill Belichick, the competitive nature in him, wanting to win all the time, despite no matter what, and putting his team in the Super Bowl again.
I think that Coach Belichick's legacy is already, or his story is already written. Now, we don't know what the last chapter is going to be, but it's going to end well. It's already got 3 Super Bowl championships as a head coach attached to it. But I think that for the other guy, Tom Coughlin, who about 2 months ago we had fired again. He had just lost to the Washington Redskins again. They were like, when do we announce the firing? When is it coming? And he has gone from that to the possibility of winning a 2nd Super Bowl against a great coach like Bill Belichick. And automatically, I think that puts him into a category of, you know, they say possible Hall of Fame. I mean, how are you going to not, with what he did in Jacksonville, with that on his resume? Amazing story.
Hey, Tommy, it's really hard to talk about legacy when you talk about greatness. We always try to get this, we have to make a list. Okay? The one thing I'm certain they're going to say about Bill Belichick and his legacy, he was a winner. I mean, he wins football games, and that's what a coach should be measured on. But there has to be some type of comma or exclamation point, because the 2007 season, Spygate, you have to talk about that. That's going to be part of his legacy. So the amount of games that he wins after Spygate and championships, I believe, will identify his legacy. But the number one thing you're going to be able to say at the end, when that last chapter is written, he is a winner.
You know, he still loves just, okay, it's Monday, Tuesday, whatever it is, sitting there. I want to break down film. I want to see how we did. I want to see who we're playing. He still enjoys that as much as he did as an assistant. Now, Teddy, you know him far better than anybody does. What does this trip, this season, back to the Super Bowl mean for Coach Belichick?
Well, it's very important to him because it's a different team, and you hear him say that all the time with different players. But I think there is a test that Coach Belichick passed just to prove how good of a coach he is. If you take away Montana from Walsh or Bradshaw from Noel, do that and see how good of a head coach they would have been. In 2008, you did that with Coach Belichick. Tom Brady went down with a season-ending knee injury. In comes Matt Castle, all right? The kid hadn't started at the quarterback position since high school. If that's not a test, I don't know what is. The team still goes 11-5, and I think that was one of the true testaments of how good not only the players were on that team, but Coach Belichick and his staff to take an unknown commodity at quarterback and still have success. I think that's the true test of Coach Belichick's brilliance.
You know what, Teddy, and you may or may not agree with me on this. If I were to rank the 5 Patriot Super Bowl teams, Coach Bill Belichick, this would be number 4. And not to take anything away from the 01 team, but Tom Brady was really an unknown there, and that's I'm shaved that. But he loves this team. To Key's point, you know, he's been now 8 Super Bowls. That's over a 1/6 of the Super Bowls he's been in as a coach. Now, that's like a big, you know, that's a pretty big number, and maybe only like Joe Gibbs, and I'm going to change it a little. Joe Gibbs won a decade apart, 3 of them with 3 different quarterbacks. Only the Hogs were the constant of those teams.
Yes.
Coach Belichick, can he win, you know, 4 Super Bowls in 11 years? The only constant he has as a quarterback. Everything else has changed. 3 different offenses, adaptability. So I find it, you adapt to who you have, and that's some coaching. That's some coaching. Now, what we have in this game, by the way, in our IBM Insight Center, is that you would think this would have happened more recently. A Super Bowl between coaches who have won a Super Bowl before. Before now, you got to go to Super Bowl 19 when Bill Walsh and Don Shula, both Hall of Famers, coach against each other. Tom Flores and Joe Gibbs a little before that. Chuck Noll and Tom Landry, of course, a couple of times. So this hasn't happened very often, Mike. I mean, quite a story back in 2000 when Robert Kraft found his head coach there with the Jets, wasn't it?
Well, Chris, Mike Tirico back here at the stadium. I want to take you back to how that transpired in this defining era of Patriots football and Bill Belichick's coaching career. Let's go back to Belichick being released by the Cleveland Browns, and he becomes an employee of the New England Patriots. Before this stint, he was an assistant coach. Remember, Bill Parcells was the head coach. We reminded of that earlier this year when Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, stopped on the Monday Night Football bus and reminded John Gruden of the time that Belichick was first in his employ.
Parcells spoke to me about him. He said, why don't you go meet him, see what you think? And we brought him in as the secondary coach. We actually went to the Super Bowl in '96, and we won our last 7 games. And the defense was a big part of it. And I would go around drilling the players and saying, you know, what's happened here? What they said to me was he always had a way of explaining things to them that put them in the best position to do their job well.
So some perspective on how the Belichick era started and then continued in Foxborough. Then bring in our Super Bowl winning coaches all on our panel, John Gruden, Mike Ditka, and Bill Parcells. Coach Parcells, I'm going to start with you and the familiarity we discussed a few hours ago with Tom Coughlin and Bill Belichick, both on your Super Bowl 25 staff. Because of the familiarity, how do you think it impacted the approach each had for this week?
I really don't think it impacted too much. I think you always are trying not to overthink that situation. He knows that I know that he knows kind of thing. They've played 3 times already this year. They used to coach together. They play almost every preseason, so they are definitely familiar with one another. The other thing is you cannot just take what you do well and abandon it because someone else knows about it. And I don't think the Giants will do that. I think the Giants will be the Giants. If you're looking for a little variation, look back to the other 3 Super Bowls that Bill Belichick won. There was a little variance in the defenses that he employed in each of those games. So look for that maybe today against the Giants.
So, Coach Parcells, you're saying Coach Belichick is more likely to come out with some wrinkle that'll be unique game plan-wise for this game?
I think it'll be on defense rather than offense. I think they'll go with their strength on offense, which is obviously Brady and the inside passing game. Defense is where I would look for it.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Ditka, let me bring you in and go back to your days in playing for Coach Tom Landry with the Cowboys. How about how Coach Landry approached the Super Bowl as the biggest game of them all?
Well, Coach Landry approached every game as the biggest game of all. I mean, he was a student of the football game, and he studied so much. I can remember the first one we went to when I was a player there. we had a good game plan in the first week, and because he watched so much film, he changed a lot of that game plan the second week. We went in, we did not win that football game, but not really for that reason. But the next time we went, the next year we went again, and we did win. We had the game plan in, and I remember Coach Reeves telling him, Dan told him, Coach, don't change a thing. These guys are ready to go. They got this down pat. We can operate this game plan. And, you know, let me tell you another thing, guys. I hear all the things I hear about Coach, and God, I really agree with him. But you can't coach if you don't have good players. And you got to put your players in the best position you can for them to succeed. Why would you change what got you there? Why? Yeah, you can have a wrinkle here or there, but why would you change what got you there?
And Coach Ditka, to your point, maybe to amplify, it's not only just good players, but also good assistant coaches as well as they start to pump the music here in the stadium. John Gruden, I want to bring you in on that. Ahead,
I had one of the greatest assistant coaches in the league in Buddy Ryan. Believe me, I know what I had.
Right. Absolutely. Coach Gruden, there are assistant coaches in this game who we're going to hear from and see their impact very significantly once it kicks off behind us.
Yeah, usually the head coach gets all the credit, but there are assistant coaches that are going to have their fingerprints all over this game today. Defensive coordinator Matt Patricia, the Patriots. Offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien is the head coach of Penn State. I want to know where he's been the last week or so. What is Josh McDaniels' role going to be in this football game? Perry Fewell of the Giants, the defensive coordinator. Are we going to use our NASCAR package? Are we going to stay with our base defense? Both special teams coordinators. Hey, when we won our Super Bowl, our assistant coaches had a lot to do with our success. They're going to play a key role today as well.
And John, you got to know Tom Coughlin quite well during a very special trip a couple of summers ago, and it'll humanize Coach Coughlin in a way that may be unique for people. Talk about that a bit.
Well, we went to Iraq. We visited our troops. Bill Cowher, Jeff Fisher, John Harbaugh. We all share the same room for 5 nights. One room, one bathroom. There's one nice bed, and there's a couple bunks. Coughlin walked in, he says, I'm taking a big bed, boys, and we all listed. He was our leader out there. He's a real American. Let me tell you, Tom Coughlin, he's one of the great human beings we have in this country. He's a hard guy not to root for. Special human.
And he gave you a great reading list of the many books he read along the way. And I can tell Coach Coughlin, John Gruden has read none of those books.
Exactly right.
He's been a heck of a winner, whether at home or on the road in the playoffs. Tom Coughlin trying to add to it. Thanks to our Super Bowl coaches, and we'll continue.
To be in the moment feels amazing. I mean, it just feels like there's not a care in the world, and that you're the only person and your teammates, but you're there and you're absorbing it all.
It just doesn't happen that often, but it's magical.
You can take that things of what you probably think it would feel like and double it just because of the feeling of accomplishment.
It means a lot to be the youngest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. My name's in the history book, at least for a little while.
ESPN America, bringing you the best NHL action all season long. On Tuesday night, Atlantic Division rivals face off at Madison Square Garden. Lundqvist and the Rangers are flying high, but Kovalchuk and the Devils are ready to shut them down. Devils at Rangers, Tuesday at 0100 CET, live on ESPN America.
Here's the blitz. Pass caught by Smith. Great job spinning away inside the 20. Smith to the 10 and tries to reach for the pylon. No signal yet. Touchdown. Woodhead has a first down at the 4. The alert for the quick snap. 4th and goal. Brady up and over and touchdown, New England. Flacco, open, Bolden takes it to the field goal range. Bolden down the sideline and Bolden out of bounds near the 20-yard line. 2nd and 1. Flacco to the end zone, and it's knocked out at the last minute. It was Sterling Moore who took it away. But a lot of people off Evans. It was Evans this time. Here comes Billy Cundiff to tie this game, and in all likelihood send it to overtime. The last 2 years, 16 of 16 in the 4th quarter on field goals. 32 yards to tie it. And the kick, look out! Look out! It's no good! It's no good! They're heading to Super Bowl 46.
He's spun around. He's able to get away. Looks to throw. He does downfield, and a neatly catch is made. What a play by Eli Manning.
Him getting away from those defenders was half of the miracle in itself.
How he got out of the grasps, away from those New England guys, was remarkable. You talk about second, third, and fourth effort. There was no quit in Eli.
Then came the catch that would vault an unknown player into the national consciousness.
You know what? I get goosebumps when I see it. It amazes me absolutely.
Two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks looking for another one. Tom Brady, Eli Manning. Rachel Nichols with a look in at Eli. Ed Werder begins with a look in at Tom Brady.
Well, Boomer, Tom Brady suffered his only Super Bowl defeat and his most recent defeat this season against the same Giants defense that's been verbally threatening him all week here in Indianapolis. I'm told Brady and his teammates are seething about the Giants, making it seem like all they have to do is roll the ball out on the field, bloody Brady's nose, and the Lombardi Trophy is all theirs. Brady recognizes he can't hold the ball against the Giants' rush, but another player told me pressure wasn't the difference in their Week 9 loss, saying they didn't tear our heart out with their pass rush as much as they have tried to make everybody believe it with the way they've talked this week. The other thing to keep in mind, Bill Belichick knows the most important thing in this game, negating the pressure on Brady. Throughout his career, Belichick's been masterful solving problems, denying opponents their strength, usually with defense. Peyton Manning threw 49 touchdown passes in 2004. Went to Foxborough. The Colts scored 3 points in the AFC Championship game. Belichick's Super Bowl game plan for stopping Jim Kelly and the Bills' no-huddle offense in the Hall of Fame. Though those are offensive or defensive changes, offensively, can Belichick and his coaches create a way to make the Giants' pass rush go away? That's all the Giants have talked about all week. They haven't talked about their ability to cover or play the run game. Let's go for an update on the Giants to Rachel Nichols.
Well, Ed, here at the team hotel, the coaches gave Eli Manning a pop quiz. They presented him with about 20 video clips of looks the Pats will likely give him, and Eli had to call out the protections, make any play calling adjustments on the fly. I'm told he was perfect. Now, if Manning does outduel Tom Brady today, Brady might have no one to blame but himself. Archie Manning told me that since Brady and Peyton are such good friends, before Peyton's first Super Bowl, Brady called him up and advised him on his entire game week routine. Peyton passed that same routine on to Eli. He used it 4 years ago, and Boomer, he's been using it this week.
Well, the class of 2004, Eli Manning, I mean, remember these three guys drafted so high. Eli now can win his second Super Bowl. Phillip Rivers waiting for a chance, but nobody's complaining about the way he's playing overall. Big Ben, of course, been to 3 already, winning 2. So Eli now, Eli may be to the head of that class, which is quite a class. Tommy, the quarterbacks, yes, they lead the way, but we got something else leading the way, don't we?
Boom, sometimes there are things that lead the way even bigger than the Super Bowl itself. Mark Herzlich, Giants linebacker, you see the tweet that he put up. At least we're going to take a look at it. 2 years ago, I was told I might never walk again. Just walk off the plane in Indy to play in the Super Bowl. Now, that truly is leading the way.
What a great sight it'll be to see him with the Giants on the field here in Indianapolis. Well, of course, we have NFL primetime after the game. And whenever it's all over and the trophy day, come on over to us. We'll be on the field, Tommy and Steve and yours truly, and then, of course, going into Sports Center after that. Now, we are in Indy. We are in Indy, right? So why wouldn't we go out to the Brickyard and, with the help of Graham Rahal, why wouldn't we, here come our picks, revving it up from the Indy 500. They're on their way downtown. Get out of his way. We'll be back.
Brady wired under the helmet. And inside the huddle. Tom Brady soundtracks in Super Bowls and the biggest gaffes on the biggest stage.
The man open in the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Dropped in the end zone.
We reached into the Super Bowl vault to find the plays that made our guys say,
"Come on, man."
Leading the Way is brought to you by Audi. Truth in engineering.
This February on ESPN America, the finest athletes in the game take center stage. The NCAA college hoop season rolls on with live coverage from campuses across the nation. Modern-day gladiators step into the ring every Friday on Friday Night Fights. And hockey's best go head-to-head as the superstars of the NHL face off. The brightest stars, the biggest games, all this month live on ESPN America.
Throws one left down the sideline. Came back to the ball, made a great catch.
Just great hands.
He just went up and got it down. He reached up with those big hands and grabbed it.
When Akeem Nicks arrived in New York, the equipment staff didn't have any gloves big enough for Nicks's hands.
Do big hands help you become a great receiver?
Not necessarily, you know, because you can have big hands and then not catch a cold. Mine's helped to my advantage because I'm a hands catcher. I like to attack the ball with my hands.
Okay, now this is the tricky one. Go. Oh. Now, when you do that, when you can snatch that ball with one hand like that, you've arrived.
I should grab it like that?
Yeah, grab it. No, you got to grab it. You got to pluck it like a meat hook. You got to go in there and say, give me that, boy.
Come on. Give me that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Give me that.
Show. There we go. Boom.
Although not officially known as the Super Bowl until 1969, the first AFL versus NFL championship game was played between the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs in 1967. Behind the poised passing of quarterback Bart Starr and the clutch receiving of Max McGee, Vince Lombardi and his Packers secured a convincing win over the AFL Chiefs. Against the Oakland Raiders in Super Bowl II, Green Bay followed a game plan similar to the one used the year before. Take the lead in the first half, wrap up the game in the second half. Starr won his second straight MVP, while All-Pro cornerback Herb Adderley capped the Packers' scoring with an interception return for a touchdown. Green Bay won 33-14 in Vince Lombardi's final game as Packers coach.
Trying to find that inner strength, but just pull that value and get that motivation to not get rid of it.
He felt like a freak. Oh, what a shot.
Catch all the action on Friday Night Fights, starting at 0300 CET, live on ESPN America.
Wow, you think they're getting ready here in Indianapolis for Super Bowl 46? I mean, look at this. You can't drive through that with a 3-wood. Forget Graham Rahal. And they are fired up. And there you go. A Vermont plate. Ethan Allen, the Green Mountain Boys, and MHK, Myra Kraft fan. That's beautiful. The Patriots, of course, have played all season with the initials of the late Myra Kraft on the front of their jerseys in memory of the wife of Patriots owner Robert Kraft, who lost her battle with cancer this past July. They've always played with a sense of purpose, these Patriots, but perhaps this season, though, there's more to it.
15 seconds left. Kick on the way. It is long enough, and it's no good. He hooked it wide to the left.
I believe in spirituality, and I think we had an angel smiling down on us that day.
You know, she blew that field goal a little wide left.
You can't always express it in terms of well, in anything related to football. It really had everything to do with off the field, which was a big focus of hers.
Myra is really a rock in the organization, and you know, she had a great competitive spirit to her, even though she was tiny.
She was a warrior. She was a tough young lady. She was just a sweetheart. Going to these rough neighborhoods, going to the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, going to these shelters, going to all these type of places that need help. And she was right in the middle of it.
Want to take this game ball, Robert? Well done.
to you and your family.
For the guys, collectively as a group, to say, listen, this is what we want to do for him, to show him our appreciation, love, and support.
I saw a photo that was taken after the Ravens game. It's beautiful. You're clutching the trophy and you're looking at the sky. What are you thinking there?
I was afraid if I had gotten the trophy, if I had said something that might lose it. So, you know, and people who know us knew how special she was.
You've dealt with something, you know, that's very heavy and very weighing on you as an individual and as a family unit, and I think to be able to finish this one out would mean the world.
Well, and every Patriot fan, the memory of Myra Kraft, a big part of this season and, dare we say, seasons to come. That is for sure. Teddy, I mean, you knew Mrs. Kraft very well.
Yes.
We did as well. She was such a big part of the team. What would winning this Super Bowl mean with this as a background to these guys, this coaching staff, and this organization?
You know, the previous Super Bowl victories are very special to Mr. Kraft, but this would be more special. They are playing for Mrs. Kraft this season. That she was such a big part of the players and their lives. So always wanting to be involved and talk to the players about families. And it was a great contrast because with Coach Belichick, it was always about do your job, and all the constant pressure he would always put on you. But to have that constant of Mrs. Kraft and Mr. Kraft, that family environment that was there, really was comforting to players. And pregame warm-ups before every home game, you go out and you're very intense and you get through your warm-ups, you get loose. Before you walked into the locker room, she was always there with Mr. Kraft, and I'd always stop and give Mr. Kraft a handshake, and I'd give Mrs. Kraft a kiss. Yeah. And guys would line up to do that because they felt like that was their little good luck charm. If you just got a little hug from Mrs. Kraft, you know, you were ready to play. That was really the final moment there in your preparation.
And of all the players in this Patriots roster, none was any closer to Myra Kraft than Vince Wilfork, and he also used to give her a kiss before every game. And so this year, what he's been doing is he's been going over to Robert Kraft and giving him 2 kisses. And when he gives him the second kiss, he shouts out, Mama, which is the word that everybody used for Myra Kraft.
And as you know, Tom Coughlin often has inspirational messages for his team. And last night, and Rachel Nichols alluded to this earlier, a very emotional, fiery Tom Coughlin before his team as he made a presentation. The presentation included some familiar refrains like believe and finish and against all odds. And he played that highlight video to the backdrop of Phil Collins' legendary In the Air Tonight song. We've been waiting for this moment for all my life, and he felt quite familiar that 38 of the 53 players have never played in the Super Bowl. And then he said, we have one more mountain to climb. And when he said that, on the projection screen come up one beautiful mountain. And oh, by the way, Lieutenant Colonel Greg Gatson, remember introduced him to Super Bowl 42, the double amputee inspirational leader. He will be on that 30-yard line today in case those guys ever want to feel like giving up a little bit, which they won't.
Well, Giants, Patriots, certainly no lack of inspiration all the way around this evening here in Indianapolis. We'll be back.
They may look like harmless dramas, but the motivation being provided by these ladies in this room could be the key to this year's Super Bowl. The story's coming later on Countdown.
And all in, putting their chips on the table.
You have something that you feel can't be beat. You know, what do? You throw it all in.
How a Christmas Eve speech got the Giants to the Super Bowl. College basketball doubleheader live on ESPN America. First, the Big East has the Hoyas face up to the high-flying Orange Men. Then it's all about the bragging rights as Duke and North Carolina renew the rivalries. It all starts Wednesday at 0100 CET on ESPN America, the home court of college hoops.
first half. Second down. And Manning looking for Bradshaw.
He made the catch off of the deflection. He didn't do anything to help out Eli Manning. Eli scrambling, hoping somebody will do something for him. And Bradshaw keeps running up the field, but Bradshaw hangs with it, and it comes right down into his arms. And look at that, right off the right leg. And then he makes the catch.
Well, I think that, you know, the excitement level is so high. I think you stand there and you think about, you know what, this is what I have dreamed about. I'm living a dream, the fact that this is what I've done my whole life, worked my whole life to be, and it's to play in this game right now and be where I am right at that point in time before you take the field. So there's a feeling, it's a feeling like no other, and it will not be matched by anything else.
We go through slumps, like everyone else. And when things start going bad like that, sometimes the best thing to do, watch the tape.
Now look right here, your shoulder, you're dipping it. Really? What concerns me is this motion here.
Yeah, but my posture's good, isn't it? Is that bad?
It's not good. I don't even know where to begin with this one.
Yeah, that was a poor effort.
Eventually, the great ones always figure it out.
Things obviously are neck and neck and potential to lead changes by the day.
I'm embarrassed.
Sports Center, weekdays at 0700 CET on ESPN America.
Well, certainly plenty of Giant fans. And by the way, anybody wearing blue Colts will be rooting for the Giants today, too, as the Patriots have become quite a rivalry here. So the G-men have plenty, and Eli, you know, brother of Peyton. So maybe more of a Giant house. Now, maybe in anticipation, this was the ultimate oops on the Giant website for a brief time last night. We won it. We've won it. We're champs of Super Bowl 46. You can get your gear that say Super Bowl oops. Well, they figured it out. They took it off, and then the beauty of computers, it was out there. See, come back to the Ten Commandments, maybe, and it wouldn't have been written there in the stone, but that's what happened, and so the Giants with the ultimate oops. Now they get to play the game. We welcome a Super Bowl welcome now to Rick Riley, whose angles and spins on all things football this year have been unique and enlightening. A happy Super Bowl Sunday, and that one's not on you, I know, Rick.
Thank you. Chris, I don't know, do you play in these poker tournaments? And in these things now, if you get a hand that you just think is unbeatable, you take all your chips, you push them to the center of the table, and you say, all in. It's a risky move. It's all or nothing. It's bank or bust. And if you lose, you're out. But if you win, the rewards are really sweet, as the New York Giants found out.
All in. All in. All in.
All in.
All in.
To understand how two words,
all in,
turned a New York Giants season going nowhere into a trip to the Super Bowl, you got to go back to the night before Christmas Eve. The Giants were 7-7, and they'd lost 5 of their last 6.
I think there's some empty graves out there that people were digging for the Giants. There was definitely something missing.
That night at a players' chapel meeting,
we had a young guy come in and speak. He delivered one of the most timely messages that I've had, not only in my football career, but in my life.
His name is John Paul Gonzalez, a 9th grade teacher and speaker in nearby Union City, New Jersey. He's friends with the Giants team chaplain, who asked him to speak to the team. Were you nervous?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, you go in a room and you see like Eli Manning in the front row, and then you see Justin Tuck, and you see these guys, and you're like, wow.
Gonzalez turned out not to be just a teacher of kids. He turned out to be a teacher of Giants.
He kind of put everything into 2 words, all in. He gave everyone poker chips, had everyone put their initials on the poker chip, and advised us to keep it with us. When you have something that you feel can't be beat, you know, what do? Throw it all in.
The next day, the Giants whipped the Jets 29-14.
And off Bradshaw. Gonna run right through a tackle. Touchdown Giants.
Afterwards,
we was all in today. Went to chapel last night, and our speaker talked about all in. And today, you know, you could just tell the Giants was all in.
And before you knew it, all in had worked its way all around the Giants locker room.
It's just something that became, you know, infectious, wanting to give more effort, wanting to stay behind and watch more film. Ever since then, everybody, all 53 guys, 46 on game day, they're all in.
The next week, they beat the Cowboys, punching their playoff ticket.
The New York Giants are the NFC East champions.
Then the chaplain again sent me a message and said, you wouldn't believe this, but they made towels for the game.
It's not about individual, it's just everybody being 100% dedicated to the team.
Then they dismissed the Falcons at home in the first round of the playoffs, and a week later, they went into no less than Lambeau Field and shocked the 15-1 Packers.
The New York Giants have eliminated the #1 seed Green Bay Packers. They're all in.
The chip is a chip, but, you know, it's our minds, you know, that are powerful. What's going to give you that extra edge? What's going to give you that extra push?
And that's new since you dedicated yourself to all in.
You know, I don't think I was giving it 100%. I might have been giving it 90%. But now I think, you know, for the last 5 weeks, I've been definitely giving it 100%.
The 49ers in San Francisco, the NFC title game, jackpot.
The Giants in overtime have won the NFC Championship.
All the way down, you know, to the custodians, to the cooks that we have here within the facility. And when I say all in, I really mean they're all in.
You came up with it. Doesn't that feel great?
It does, but I know it's a lot of tribute to their hard work.
If you win this Super Bowl, what will you do with the chip?
I'll probably frame that chip, you know, in all honesty, and make sure I keep it by me, you know, at all times. I'll probably keep it next to my Super Bowl ring.
Do you think you'll get a ring?
I wouldn't turn one down.
Yeah, this has really caught on all over New York and here in Indianapolis. Even the fans are all in. Now each Giant keeps their chip somewhere where they can see it to keep remembering to be all in. Dave Tollison keeps it on the dashboard of his truck. Brandon Jacobs keeps it on the dresser of his bedroom. The teacher, the young teacher you met, he keeps it on the desk at his school so the kids can play with it. If the Giants win this Super Bowl, those little chips become pretty valuable little pieces of NFL history. So I asked the teacher, where'd you get the chips? He said, Walmart.
Rick, you've been all in all year. Thanks for joining us. Really had a good time with you. Tommy, we usually talk potato chips and the chips that you keep. So let's look here at the Giants. What could go wrong to prevent all in? Real simple. What might not work out today?
Turnovers. You know, in the game they played week 9, it was 10-0 when Aaron Ross fumbled a punt. Gave the Patriots a chance to score 3. It was 10-3 when Eli Manning threw a pick in the end zone to Kyle Arrington. So pure and simple, you turn the ball over more, you're going to lose.
Hey, guys, missed tackles by the Giants defense, the things they did earlier. Poor offensive line play.